December 1st, 2007. West End Central Police Station, London. The automatic doors slide open, admitting a blast of cold winter air and a man who shouldn't exist. He looks ordinary, a bit disheveled, tanned skin that looks out of place in a British December. He walks up to the desk sergeant, leans over the counter, and whispers 8 words that will shatter the lives of everyone who ever loved him. "I think I am a missing person." The sergeant blinks. He asks for a name. "John Darwin," the man says. The police officer types the name into the national database. The screen flashes red. Warning markers appear everywhere. Because John Darwin isn't missing. John Darwin is dead. He died 5 years ago. He drowned in the freezing North Sea. His wife has the death certificate. His life insurance has been paid out. His sons have already said their final goodbyes at his grave. Yet, here he stands, breathing, sweating. He claims he has no memory. He says he woke up on a beach with amnesia. It is a miracle, the kind that makes headlines. But miracles are rarely this convenient. Within days, this miracle will rot into one of the most cynical, manipulative, and bizarre financial crimes in history. To understand why a man would destroy his own existence, we have to go back to 2002. John and Anne Darwin live in Seaton Carew, a quiet, gray seaside town in County Durham. On the surface, they are the pillars of the community. John is a prison officer, a man of the law. Anne is a doctor's receptionist, quiet, respectable, religious. They live in a massive 7-bedroom Victorian house overlooking the ocean. They drive a Range Rover with personalized plates. But the Darwins have a secret addiction. Not drugs, not gambling. Their drug is property. John has an ego that cannot fit inside a normal paycheck. He wants to be a tycoon. He buys rental properties he can't afford, leveraging debt upon debt. By early 2002, the math catches up with him. He owns 13 credit cards, all maxed out. The interest rates are eating them alive. The banks are calling daily. The debt stands at nearly £700,000, over $1 million. Bankruptcy is inevitable. For most people, bankruptcy is shameful but survivable. You lose the house, you move on. But John Darwin is not most people. He is a narcissist. He views bankruptcy as the end of his existence. He cannot bear the thought of his neighbors seeing a for sale sign on his lawn. So, sitting in his kitchen, looking out at the gray waves of the North Sea, John makes a calculation. He turns to his wife, Anne. "The life insurance is worth more than I am," he says. "It isn't a joke. It is a business proposal. If he dies, the mortgage insurance pays off the house. The life insurance pays off the credit cards. Anne gets the pension. The slate is wiped clean. All he has to do is vanish." March 21st, 2002. The plan is simple, but the execution requires absolute cold-bloodedness. John waits for the sea to be calm. He pushes his red kayak into the water, right in front of his house. He waves to a neighbor. He makes sure he is seen. He paddles out. But he doesn't go deep. Once he is out of sight of the shore, around the headland, he stages the scene. He pushes the empty kayak back out to sea, letting the current take it. Then, under the cover of twilight, John Darwin swims back to shore. He crawls up the beach, shivering, wet, and alive. He isn't hundreds of miles away. He's 3 miles down the coast. Anne picks him up in their car. She throws a blanket over him. And just like that, John Darwin ceases to exist. The next morning, the alarm is raised. A massive search and rescue operation launches. The Royal National Lifeboat Institution deploys 5 boats. 2 Coast Guard helicopters scan the water with thermal cameras. Police divers scour the seabed. The cost of the search runs into the tens of thousands of pounds. John watches all of this on the evening news, eating toast in a safe house. But the real crime isn't the wasted police time. The real crime is what happens to Mark and Anthony, the couple's 2 sons. Mark is 26. Anthony is 29. They rush to their mother's side. They are broken. Their father, their hero, is gone. They sit in the living room, holding their mother's hand, crying. And Anne Darwin plays her part perfectly. She weeps, she shakes, she looks them in the eye and accepts their comfort. Imagine the psychological darkness required for this. Anne knows John is alive. She knows exactly where he is. Yet she watches her sons grieve day after day, week after week. She watches them organize a memorial service. She watches them toss wreaths of flowers into the ocean. At one point, Mark stands by the sea, staring at the horizon, whispering, "Come back, Dad." Anne stands right next to him and says nothing. It is a betrayal so deep it borders on sociopathic. Most fugitives run. They go to Brazil or Thailand. John Darwin does something infinitely riskier. He goes home. The Darwins own the large house, but they also own the small bedsit apartment directly next door. The 2 buildings share a wall. This becomes John's tomb. For the next 4 years, John Darwin lives a life of bizarre, self-imposed imprisonment. He cannot leave during the day. He cannot open the curtains. He cannot turn on loud lights at night. But the layout of the house allows for something incredible. Behind a heavy wardrobe in the master bedroom of the main house, John creates a secret passage. He cuts a hole through the wall. He puts the wardrobe on wheels. Whenever the coast is clear, he pushes the wardrobe aside and enters the family home to eat dinner with Anne, sleep in his own bed, and watch TV. If the doorbell rings, he scrambles back through the hole, slides the wardrobe back, and vanishes. Living like a ghost is dangerous. There are terrifying close calls. One afternoon, John is walking on the beach. He dares to go out only in winter, wearing a hat and a limp to disguise his walk. He sees his own father, an old man now, walking his dog. John freezes. His father looks right at him. John pulls his hat down and turns away. His father walks past, not recognizing his own dead son. John later says he felt a pang of guilt, but not enough to stop. The money was too good. By 2003, a coroner officially declares John Darwin dead. The payout is triggered. £25,000 from life insurance, £130,000 from the mortgage insurance, £58,000 from pensions. The debt vanishes. Anne is rich, but John is bored. He has money, but he's a prisoner. He wants to travel. He needs a passport. He goes to the local library and researches dead babies. He finds a boy named John Jones, who died in infancy in 1950. John steals this dead baby's identity. He applies for a passport. The system, relying on old paper records, issues it. John Darwin is now John Jones. With this passport, the dead man starts traveling the world. He goes to Cyprus. He goes to America. People see him. Neighbors spot a man who looks exactly like John doing gardening in the backyard. But no one calls the police. Why? Because it's too impossible. It can't be John, they think. John is dead. The audacity of the lie protects them. By 2006, the walls are closing in. The neighbors are getting suspicious. The UK is too cold, too small. John and Anne decide to cash out completely. They want a tropical paradise where no one knows their faces. They choose Panama. Why Panama? Because John read somewhere that Panama had privacy laws that would protect his money. They fly there. John travels as John Jones. Anne travels as the grieving widow. They find a farmhouse in the jungle. It's perfect. They plan to build a hotel. They plan to buy a canoe tourism business. The irony is lost on them. They are happy. They have beaten the system. They have the money, the freedom, and the sunshine. But criminals, especially arrogant ones, always make a mistake. On July 14th, 2006, they visit a real estate agent in Panama City, Mario Villar. They finalize a deal for property. Mario says, "Let's take a picture to celebrate." Any smart fugitive would refuse, but John and Anne are drunk on their own success. They smile. They stand side by side. John, the dead husband, stands next to Anne, the widow. Mario posts the photo on his website. It's just one image on a small website in a corner of the internet, but it is a digital time bomb. The plan hits a snag. To buy the land permanently, Panama changes its visa laws. They require a police background check from the UK for John Jones. John can't provide it. John Jones doesn't exist. They are stuck. They can't stay in Panama without the visa. They can't go back to England without getting caught. John, in a moment of sheer panic and delusion, comes up with his masterpiece. "I'll go back," he says. "I'll fake amnesia. I'll say I don't remember the last 5 years. I'll get a real passport, and then we come back to Panama legally." It is a stupid, desperate plan. But John thinks he is smarter than the police. We are back at the police station. December 2007. John is acting his heart out. He claims he has no memory of the canoe, the debt, or the hiding. At first, the sons, Mark and Anthony, are overjoyed. They rush to London. They hug the father they mourned. They cry tears of joy. It is the cruelest moment of all. They don't know that their father is lying to their faces even now. But the police aren't buying it. John is too healthy. His hands are soft, not like a man who has been living rough for 5 years. He has a tan. They start digging into Anne's finances. They see the foreign transfers. Then, the internet does the rest. A simple Google search for Anne Darwin Panama leads a journalist to the website. There it is, the photo, the smiling dead man. The police confront Anne. She collapses. "He made me do it," she sobs. This becomes her defense. She claims marital coercion. She paints John as a monster who forced her to lie. But the jury sees the emails. Emails sent from Anne to John while he was hiding. They are full of love, jokes, and joint planning. "We are going to have such a great life," she wrote. She wasn't a victim. She was a partner. The trial is a national spectacle. But the only thing that matters is the testimony of the sons. Mark and Anthony take the stand. They publicly disown their parents. "They crushed my world," Mark says. First, when he died, and then when he came back. They realize that every birthday card, every tear, every moment of comfort from their mother for 5 years was a lie. John Darwin was sentenced to 6 years and 3 months. Anne got 6 years and 6 months. They served their time. They are out now. They are divorced. John lives in the Philippines with a new, younger wife. He still claims he did it for the family. He still doesn't get it. The story of the Canoe Man is often remembered as a joke, the bumbling Brit who tried to fake his death. But it is not a comedy. It is a tragedy of ego. John Darwin looked at his wife and children and decided they were less important than his bank balance. He proved that you can fake your death. You can fool the police. You can fool the insurance companies, but the price is that you have to kill the people you love, not with a weapon, but with a lie, and that is a death from which there is no resurrection. Every story we cover here is real. Real people, real decisions, real consequences. If this story stayed with you, I'd love to know what you think. Drop a comment below. I always read your comments. And if you want more stories like this, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss the next one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next vault.